To an FBI warning about a criminal network targeting kids at home.
The FBI is warning that this new network has a potential national security implication.
That's right. They gain the trust, and then they continue to build that trust to the point where they have power and the ability to blackmail the child, basically.
Its name, 764.
I'm sorry, what did you say they made you carve into your hand? The YouTube Troll Police, or better known as the UTTP. The UTTP. The YouTube Troll Police. The UTTP. The YouTube Troll Police. I honestly thought this group had been left in 2024 where it belongs, but we have to face reality. And in 2025, the group has just become even more toxic and vile. Now, before proceeding with this video, if you haven't heard of the UTTP yet, I urge you to watch the video linked in the top right of the screen, and then come back. But nonetheless, onto the video. While it looked like the group was dying out in late 2024, it turns out we were just looking at the surface, and below, you might ask, lied much, much worse. But before we talk specifically about the UTTP and their disgusting acts as of lately, I have to make you aware of another group first, one much larger and even more pathetic, and that group is called 764. The FBI is warning the public of a sharp increase in the activity of 764 and other violent online networks. These networks methodically target and exploit minors and other vulnerable individuals. It is imperative the public be made aware of the risk and the warning signs exhibited by victims. Sounds like a community we all know, right? These networks use threats, blackmail, and manipulation to coerce or extort victims into producing, sharing, or live streaming acts of— yep, that pretty much sums up the UTTP. But the YouTube Troll Police are not the only group with links to the infamous 764. Let me bring your attention to the term foodists. Now, this is a very popular term, especially on Reddit, that seems to refer to a group or individuals associated with online activities and potentially harmful behavior. Not to mention, I see this term talked about on my videos all the time, and I've easily come to the conclusion that the UTTP, along with other rip-off and degenerate online communities, are in fact foodists. So, does knowing that mean much? Not really. But if we dive deeper, it actually makes things much more disturbing. You see, foodists come from the root of 764, with wannabe communities alike spreading their online chaos. And a quick fun fact, the 764 was actually founded by a 15-year-old from Stephenville, Texas, the group actually being named after the start of the city's zip code. Bradley Cadenhead, the 15-year-old, who I can now speak about since he's 19, is currently serving up to 80 years in prison, because thanks to him, these online violent communities have spread like wildfire. Followers of the 764 network share all sorts of violent online content with their victims, while some also glorify past mass casualty attacks, such as the 1999 Columbine High School shooting, or even introduce victims to other extreme ideologies like neo-Nazism or Satanism, according to authorities. And most of this is happening on Discord, where, let's be real, it's mostly kids and teens using the app anyway, even though the TOS is 13+. They want to desensitize these young people so that nothing really disturbs them anymore, a detective stated. Since my last major video covering the UTTP, and with the help of other channels alike too of course, the FBI has luckily hopped on board and, on March 6th, posted a public service announcement detesting these pathetic online communities, with the FBI's assistant director stating, "The FBI has more than 250 such investigations currently underway, with every one of its 55 field officers across the country handling a 764 related case." So this issue was massive, and Discord is one of the primary go-to sites when it comes to these predators choosing a place to create their victim rings. And that brings me to the UTTP in 2025. Who's leading it, what's happening, and is there any good news? FPS, the previous leader of the UTTP, was absolutely disgusting. We know that, but at least he got feted a while back, or apparently he did. But now there's a new UTTP leader, and he's much worse. And even a co-owner of the predatory site we know as Skibbity Farms. How he's not in prison, I don't know, but a safe bet is because this is all happening under the surface and needs way more awareness than it's getting. And did I mention these cult leaders moved from Discord to now an untraceable make-your-own database site called Matrix, which is actually good because a lot of 8-year-olds don't know how to download it, but actually it's terrible. So that brings me to my next point. And you've heard it before, but please listen. Whether it's to your family, friends, anyone you care about. It may seem small, but we need this scum to be put in the limelight and get seen for how their predatory and other harmful online behaviors are being accepted on these platforms. And many adults, yes, literal people with full-time jobs and even families, have been doing this for years, without investigation or any punishment whatsoever. Enough with my passionate rant though, I want to talk more about the 764 and how they link to the predator site Skibbity Farms. Since the launch of the initial 764 group, which garnered a couple of hundred Discord followers, 764 has become a global movement, with an array of offshoots and subgroups that often rebrand and change their names to help keep social media companies and law enforcement from tracking them. Anyway, Skibbity Farms, after my petition and overall spread awareness from a few different content creators, was actually banned on some internet providers. But unfortunately, and as told to me by my comment section, majority of people around the world are still able to access the site, and or just use a VPN to chat there. But since my last video, unfortunately, the threads and talked about topics are still just as pathetic and sickening. Some examples, and I'm sorry in advance you have to hear this: unaliving instructions being given to teens on the website by a co-owner, a thread purely containing cat abuse videos, and there's much worse, but I'm going to leave it there. These sites have ties with the current main UTTP communities, and trust me when I say that many highly dedicated members are using Skibbity Farms because that's where they prefer to groom other kids like the vile pests they are. But that said, they do usually post these things on Discord regardless. This website has also become a breeding ground for new UTTP and foodist group startups, with members sharing abusive material with each other and supporting each other's stupid ideologies. Like, take a look at this one. What absolute losers. And trust me when I say, ideology is a big factor of why foodist groups continue to thrive online. Because all this really is adults and older teens sharing their predatory ideas online and desensitizing one another to the point it becomes normal. So then the next dead cat they send to a 10-year-old feels like this is a bad example, but sending a photo of an ice cream to your nephew. Anyhow, dead cats are nowhere near the worst things they spread in their little predator groups. The UTTP always have new victims, but it seems that there's one company they just won't give a rest to, and that's Glitch Productions, the large animation studio responsible for famous shows such as The Amazing Digital Circus and Murder Drones. Lately, members of the YouTube Troll Police have been targeting one of the voice actors of Digital Circus, Gooseworks, known for their work as both Bubble and Moon in the show. This includes, but is not limited to, threats, gross remarks, inspect element impersonations, which can truly ruin careers, and even doxing. But this was to a different person who worked on the show. And I'm pretty sure they were a trainee at that. Disgusting stuff, I know. If you made it this far, I appreciate you greatly. You're helping this video get more views and in return spread more awareness to this very desperate situation. If you want to see me cover more of this in-depthly, let me know. And also don't forget to subscribe. That's all. Peace.